Here we are at the Honeyberry farm in northern Minnesota, May 26, 2018, looking at 3 of the original cultivars that we brought down to the farm in the fall of 2011 and actually transplanted in the spring of 2012. So Berry Blue is now taller than I am. It's topping out at about 6 feet, and Berry Blue has a long bloom. It's a early bloomer, and its blossoms linger even till now but I'm sure most of it is pollinated, just a few lingering blossoms, little green berries forming. They will be tubular, long and narrow, really tart, tangy berries. I like them in my jams. It adds a real zing to the jam. And then here we have Borealis. So Borealis blooms several days later than Berry Blue, and one thing that it is characterized by is very dense foliage. You can't even see any berries unless you take a closer look. So if we pull back, let's see if we can get a good look here. There we go. So at the base of last year's growth, just before this year's growth, the berries are formed. And there are no blossoms remaining on this bush. So Borealis starts a little bit later, but it also finishes sooner and puts out tons of new growth. Very dense bush. Tundra is still displaying some blossoms. Tundra blossoms earlier than Borealis as well, but like Berry Blue, still has a few blossoms hanging on. And the blossoms are much more visible because it is a much less dense bush. There's still good growth. You know, that's it. I have an 8-inch reach there, and it's probably going on 9-10 inches in the last month. Tundra has a firmer berry than Borealis. Borealis might yield a little bit higher than Tundra. Tundra has a dry scar. It doesn't bleed at the stem. If you pick it, fairly early, and it's a firm berry, a little milder, not quite as tangy as most of the other varieties. Whereas Borealis, if you let it ripen good, it's a real good sweet berry, good for making sweet wines. But it's mushy berry. It will bleed at the scar, which means that it doesn't release and tears where it detaches from the stem. So be prepared for some mushiness, and also be prepared to have to open up the bush and dig in there when you're picking. Get up real close to your bush. But each has its pros and cons, and these are planted 5 feet apart, but they are, over 5 feet wide. And Borealis and Tundra are, they're probably a little bit over 4 feet tall now. And how tall will they get? I don't know. I guess we'll have to check in next year, but we'll need to start doing some renewal pruning, I'm sure, on some of these bushes. So get some fresh new shoots coming up from the ground, and so once again, there's Borealis, surrounded by a couple Tundra. It's very obvious to see when they're older, according to the amount of foliage that Borealis has in comparison to Tundra. We usually plant rows just so that it's easier when you're harvesting to, if you want a certain variety, just to go down the row and get everything. But sometimes they get a little mixed up, and that's okay too.